everyone, as you know, I am Sandra. By the time you are watching this recording, I will be in East Africa, so thank you so much for allowing me to still present my poster even though I cannot be there with you in person. I did my project on the medicinal and food plants of the Pacific Northwest. I wanted to compare those plants traditionally used by Native Americans here, pre-settler, so 150 years ago and before that, to contemporary awareness and use. And I focused on Washington State specifically, excuse me, to keep it closer to home. Just imagine for a second that you are a Native Northwest person from, say, 200 years ago or so, and you are walking through forest and prairie gathering all those plants you might need to keep yourself full and healthy and happy. And then one day you wake up and these areas are surrounded by fences, and people who recently migrated here are now claiming ownership and telling you you are no longer welcome. Well, that's exactly what happened to people here about 150 years ago. One of the first plants to fall into decline was camas. Camas was a very important root vegetable and very nutritious root vegetable commonly used by Native people. The Europeans did not understand this, treated it as a weed, and exterminated it, replacing it with a potato, a much less and less nutritious root vegetable. And it wasn't just replacing native plants with non-native plants that caused trouble, but also overgrazing from cattle and general habitat destruction from settlements. And of course, habitat destruction is an ongoing issue. Just in Puget Sound alone, in current times, we are losing about 30,000 acres of natural land to development every single year. And that's exactly why I wanted to focus on this, so I could get a handle on what's going on with our native plants today. So what I did is I put a list together of 66 plant species that were traditionally used more than 150 years ago, but also occur in Washington State today. And I gave this list of plant species out along with a survey to plant specialists, those people that either work professionally with plants or as a hobby, and ask questions such as, from this list of plant species, how many can you identify in nature, and how many are you aware of as being food or medicine, and how many are you using today? As you can see from this graph, very roughly, there is an inverse relationship between awareness and use. Most people from the survey results were able to identify over half of those plants listed as food or medicine, but use is very low. Only a couple people were utilizing a couple different species of plants. And also people in from the survey also gave great insight to reasons why use might be so low. Everyone talked about scarcity, and just that there weren't enough of these plants to support communities any longer, and that there's been a decline in both quantity and quality. And this idea of scarcity is also reflected if you take that same list of 66 species and compare them by location. And it makes sense that there would be greater diversity and abundance in our 4 national parks and protected habitat as compared to urban habitat in the city of Seattle, and then fragmented urban habitat as well. So what does that mean? So we know that awareness is decent, that use is pretty low, and that this low use might be due to a scarcity issue. So what are we going to do about it? Well, one thing that kept coming up in my research over and over again was thinking about, or going back to traditional land management practices. Historically, people kept this area of the Pacific Northwest in great health and abundance for thousands and thousands of years. And how did they do this? Well, by managing the land. And although we're talking about native plants in nature, people still took a very active role in working the land. They did prescribed burns and constantly tilled soil around root plants and trimmed shrubs and bushes and transplanted plants. Also, they participated in sustainable harvesting, so they did not take all of the roots. They left some to grow new plants, and Shrubs were plucked for food in such a way that they would regenerate for the next season or year or even future generations. So the overall idea I'd like you to get from this presentation is about protecting, more intensely protecting Northwest plant species, and also the idea of resurgence of ancient management techniques and just incorporating indigenous knowledge and wisdom, not just of plant benefits themselves, because of course Native people have great information on all of the benefits of these plants and what they can do for us, but also in practicing those old historical land management techniques to regain both the health of the people and the land. All you have to do is look around and see that Western populaces we're not the most healthy people on Earth, and it's also reflected in our landscape. And they're both for the same reason, a deficiency in plants, either in our diet or in the landscape. So I think I'm out of time, so thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can post them with this presentation, which will be posted in the day 4 at the zoo to-do. I am back the first week of January, so I will be happy to answer your questions then. Thank you so much.